Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rob. This is RH Midwest Comics, and today we are going to look at the most recent featured auction on ComicLink. So this is an auction that ComicLink does maybe every 3 or 4 months. They will have what they call a focused auction pretty much every month, and it lasts forever. It lasts like 3 or 4 weeks. So as soon as one ends, the next one starts. But then, like I said, every 3 or 4 months, they will have what they call a featured auction, which is essentially much bigger books. So anyway, that auction has started, and the session one, which is kind of aligned to what maybe Heritage calls their platinum session. So session one, which is a 2-night session, has come and gone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the top sales from the first session. And I'm going to look at essentially the top 10 Silver Age books that sold. And then I've got essentially the top 10 Golden Age books that sold as well. The reason I'm doing this is because ComicLink does not report to GPA for whatever reasons. I'm sure they have good reasons for it. So all this data gets lost, and it's great data. There are so many books that get sold, thousands upon thousands of books every month. So we're going to look at trends. We're going to compare these sales prices with some of the GPA data, the most recent GPA data, and we're going to get a feel for whether or not Silver Age and Golden Age are trending up or trending down. And there's some interesting sales that I'm going to show you. So with that, let's get into it. Okay, so right now we are looking at the ComicLink homepage for their featured auction. You can see here it's broken down into 3 sessions. The only session I'm talking about is this session 1. So that happened on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. I'm recording this on Friday. Needed a little bit of time to put some information together. So like I said, what I'm going to do is go through so I have everything sorted. If you look here, everything is sorted from the sales with the highest value. So you can see her Fantastic Four number 5, a 9.4, sold for $130,000. So that's how I sorted it. So I'm going to go through first the top Silver Age books that sold, and we'll do some comparisons in GPA, and then I'm going to show you some Golden Age books as well. All right. So like I said, Fantastic Four number 1, 9.4, first appearance of Dr. Doom. This one's off-white to white pages, huge book. And when we go to GPA, Fantastic Four number 5, right here, not the Newton Comics one, but the Marvel Comics one. You can see here's the trend over time. The last sale was in 2022 for $162, and this one sold for $130,000. So a big drop back to even prior to 2021. This book is coming back to earth a little bit here. So down a little bit on that book. Still a huge price tag, right? $130,000 is nothing to sneeze at. I can't buy that book, but nonetheless, coming down. So I think that's a good thing. I think people mistake sometimes when I say, prices have, low sales since 2020, something like that. There are a few people that get upset and say, why are you saying that, right? That's so negative. It's not negative at all. I think it's a good thing for these prices to come back down to normal, whatever normal is, there had to be a correction, and it's happening. It's still happening. Not on all books, but on most books, especially in the Silver Age. Golden Age, you're going to see a little bit of a different story. But so no, it's not a bad thing at all. I post a lot of stuff about record sales too. You're going to hear some of that today. So anyway, that was the first book. Okay. Next one we're going to talk about is the second biggest sale, Avengers number 1, 9.4, white pages, another crazy book. Very cool date stamp right in the middle there above Hulk's head. It says July 2nd, 1963. I love date stamps. I don't think that detracts from the book at all, my opinion. So when we go to GPA, here we go, Avengers number 1 and a 9.4. The last time it sold wasn't, it was 2017, okay? So a lot has happened in 4, 5, 6, 7 years. But back then it sold for just under $90,000, and this one sold for $120,000. So definitely set a record there. good for Avengers #1. Happy to see a big sale like that. If we go and look at, let's say, like a 9.2, there was a more recent sale in June of last year. It's kind of holding steady, right? No huge drops, at least at these higher grades. So Avengers #1 is a win. So there you go, record-setting book. Third on the list. So we're gonna skip this Detective Comics 27 because it's a no grade. Front cover's missing. The back cover, the centerfold are married. It's still almost $100,000 book. So a complete Detective Comics number 27, first appearance of Batman, but missing a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff is an original to the same book. But still, $100,000 someone paid for that. Huge sale. So again, sticking with the Silver Age theme here, Hulk #1 in a 7.5, white pages. Another huge book. And by the way, this is the most rare Silver Age Marvel key. Okay? More rare than AF-15, more rare than FF #1. I think FF #1 is second on the list in terms of, how many books are on the census there. But anyway, 7.5 white pages. When we go to GPA, the last 7.5 sold in January of this year for $84,000. The heights of this book were $108,000, right, in a 7.5. But the last sale was $84,000, and this one sold for $88,000. So up from the last sale. And you might ask, let's see here, but the $84,000 book, right? Did it have white pages? So we can go in here and look. Make sure CGC knows I'm a human. And then, yes, that was a white pager as well. So it's kind of apples to apples. I know not all books are the same, but white page to white page, it went up from 84,000 to 88,000. Still not over 100 grand where it was before, but nonetheless an increase. All right, next on the list, first appearance of the Silver Surfer, FF48 in a 9.8, white pages, another huge book. You can see the wrap is off a little bit there, but still beautiful book. I'm just taking a closer look at it, see if I see anything wrong with it. Okay, let's go to GPA. What does GPA say? The last 9.8 sold in April of this year for $63,000. And let's see, was that a white pager or not? It was off-white to white, okay? So an off-white to white 9.8 sold for $63,000. This one was a white pager and sold for $69,000. So it's up a little bit. It did have better page quality than the previous one that sold. But even if we go to the one in March that sold for 66, let's see what that one was at. That was white as well. So even compared to the last white pager that sold, it's up a little bit. So another Silver Age book that went up. All right. Next on the list, Tony Stark, first appearance of Iron Man, Tales of Suspense 39, 8.5, white pages. A lot of really nice white page grails in this auction. Really, really nice. You can see this one has the double quotes around Iron Man. It is very desirable by collectors. So let's go to GPA and find out. I have so many tabs open, it's hard to remember where I'm at. Okay, 8.5 white pager. Here's the trend over time. The last one sold in 2023 for $69,000. When was that? That was June of 2023. So we're essentially a year later, since we're almost into June. And this book sold for $62,000. So, very interesting. Let's find out what page quality that book had. And that was off-white to white. So we had an off-white to white book sell for $63,000. And this one sold for $62,000, and it's a white pager. So slightly down on Tales of Suspense number 39, but fairly equal, down a little bit. Okay, next, the King of the Silver Age, Amazing Fantasy 15, first appearance of Peter Parker as Spider-Man. This is a 6.0. It's got cream to off-white pages, so not the best page quality by any means. And if we go to Amazing Fantasy 15 and go down to the 6.0, you can see not a lot of correction on this grade. Went up, not really coming down a whole lot. Last sale, excuse me, there was a sale this year for $75,000 in February, and that one was off-white to white pages, so it had one page quality better than this one. So $75,000, and this one sold for $60,000. That is a huge drop. In fact, the last time we saw anything close to $60,000 was back in, look at this, 2020. November of 2020, sold for $66,000. So it's even lower than that. So we're back to, at least in that grade, this one data point, 2020 prices. All right. So that's AF15. The king continues to correct. Okay, let's go to the next one. X-Men #1. So we're going to skip over some of these because there's some Golden Age ones. We're going to keep going with the Silver Age theme here. We're going to come back to Golden Age. Don't worry. X-Men #1, 8.0, off-white pages, so not the best page quality, a little better than the AF15 we just looked at. So X-Men #1 and an 8.0. Let's check it out. Here's the trend. The 8.0 has corrected quite a bit. Last sale, so yeah, it doesn't look like there was a, there hasn't been an 8.0 sale since 2022. And that sale, so kind of like, well, it had already started correcting, right? So $43,000 was the last sale there. And this one came in at $37,000, $37,750 to be exact. So big correction there. More Silver Age keys continuing to decline, or correct, I should say. But again, it's a good thing. All right, let's keep going. Okay, 2 or 3 more Silver Age books, and then we're going to get into some Golden Age stuff. So next, actually, we're going to have a couple DC books here. All right, the first one is Justice League #1 from 1960. Really nice grade here, 9.2 off-white to white pages. All right, let's see when the last one sold. There we are. Okay. So the last Justice League #1, 9.2, sold in 2021. And you can see it it set a record back then for $45,600. And what did this one sell for? $36,550. So quite a big drop. Let's see what the page quality one was on the $45,000 one. It was off-white. And this one was off-white to white. So this one even had better page quality and still sold for almost 10 grand less. So quite a big drop there. But this next one, Showcase 22, another DC book, a little bit of a different result. So this is the first appearance of the Silver Age Green Lantern, or first appearance of Hal Jordan. This was an 8.0, and it had cream to off-white pages, so even a little bit worse page quality. Let's see, this one doesn't sell too often. Showcase 22, 8.0, last sale 2013 for just under $18,000. So, all right, that's over a decade ago. We know that this one's going to set a record for sure. So, all right, back in 2013, sold for $18,000. This one sold for $36,000. So, doubled in price. This one sets a record, right? We got to give credit where credit's due. None of these Silver Age books that we've looked at so far, none of them have been a record-setting price. But this one is. All right, so Showcase 22, Hal Jordan. Record-setting price for an 8.0. All right, and then we're going to go to... okay, so this... We already did Amazing Fantasy 15, and we know it. The 6.0 took a big tumble. Here's another 3.5, sold for $35,000. The last sale on this was $30,000. So this is a strong sale. Not still way down from when it was previously during the madness. So yeah, far away from the record-setting prices of 2021 and 2022, but nonetheless a strong price for a 3.5. All right, so we're not going to go into more detail on that since we already did an AF-15. But I wanted to do one last book, Amazing Spider-Man #1 in a 7.5 off-white to white pages. Another big key issue from the Silver Age. And let's go to GPA. Here we go. ASM #1 in a 7.5. You can see some correction, but then back up a little bit. So this thing hasn't seen, in this grade, a huge correction by any means. Last sale was in 2023, two sales in 2023 for the same price, $38,400. So just under 40 grand. What do we have now? $34,000. So still taking a bit of a tumble. ASM #1, like the other Marvel Silver Age keys. And, that kind of says it all. So some decent sales prices in there for the Silver Age, but for the most part, things are going down, and nothing, with the exception of the Showcase 22, which hadn't sold in over a decade, nothing else set a record, not even close to it, right? Most of them are down. So that trend is continuing. Now we're going to get into some Golden Age stuff, all right? And the first one here, you can see, huge book. Now, these books don't sell as often, so we're going to have some gaps in sales over time, like we don't see necessarily on Silver Age books. So All American Comics #61. This is the first appearance of Solomon Grundy, big character in the DC universe. And this is a 7.0. So you can imagine from 1944, it's hard to find books in higher grade like this. So a 7.0 for All American Comics #61. So I've got it here. Here you can see we actually did have a sale on it in 2023 for $27,600. So not a record breaker. Its record was actually in 2020 for $30,500. So last sale, this was a $27,000 book. This one sold for $31,119. A new record for All American Comics #61. A new record for the first appearance of Solomon Grundy. It's a huge book, and probably well deserving of the price, at least for now. But this is kind of the trend we've seen with a lot of Golden Age key books, is they keep going up. All right, we won't see that with all of them in here, and I'll get to those, but this one for sure had it. All right, we're going to skip over some of these other books and go to the next Golden Age book, the next highest price, which was Submariner Comics #1, a 5.0. So this is not the first appearance of Submariner, right? Which happened in Marvel Comics #1. And actually, I think it happened in a comic strip before that. And I don't remember what the comic strip name is. Again, right when I look it up, I'll probably throw it up on the screen here. But regardless, this is an amazing Alex Schomburg cover, with Submariner on there, fighting the Germans, and just some great artwork. And why did the Submariner character in the movie not look like this? I mean, he's massive here. Really cool looking. What movie was it? Oh, I think that was Black Panther 2, wasn't it? So he didn't really look like this. That character, I like Black Panther 2, and I kind of like the Submariner character there, but he got a lot of flack for having a little bit of a dad bod. But anyway, regardless, so this was a 5.0. This is from 1941. And if we go to GPA, this is, all right, Submariner Comics #1 from the wonderful Timely Company. We will see that a 5.0 sold in 2023, June of 2023, so essentially a year ago. Yep, a year ago, for $33,600. And this one sold for $23,257. So huge decrease. Now, when you look at this 5.0, it's kind of an ugly 5.0. just I didn't look up the grader's notes on this, but you've got either huge shadow issues there, or maybe that's tape residue. I don't know what it is, but it's not a very nice looking 5.0. But regardless, 10,000 bucks, that's a big drop for, just even with as cosmetically inferior looks on the screen here. So anyway, here's a Golden Age book that's down. All right. So next one, as we scroll down here past some other Silver Age stuff. So now we get into pre-code horror. This is a grail for many people. Black Cat Mystery Comics number 50. This is the exploding face cover by Lee Elias from Harvey, and it's from 1954. This is creamed off-white pages, but again, it's a 7.5. Very classic cover, and these books sell for a lot of money. And this one in particular, let's see, 7.5. Let's look at previous sales. Here we go. Let's make sure I'm on the right book, and I am. So a 7.5 hasn't sold since 2017. But the last time it sold, it was $3,800, but it was down. So there were two sales that month, one for $5,000, one for $3,800. So maybe we call this like a $4,500 book back in 2017. And this one sold for $20,750. So when you go 7 years without selling a book, especially a pre-code horror key issue like this, yeah, it almost, let's see, 6x. So, oh, not quite, right? I guess more like 5x, a little bit under that. But anyway, huge sale. But I will say this: if we go back to GPA, so I wanted to look for a sale that is at least relatively close, and there was a 6.5 that sold for $21,600 just 6 months ago in November. So 6.5, smaller grade, lesser grade, 2 grades less, sold for $21,600, and this sold for less than that. So I don't know if there's a chink in the armor here, right? So even though this is a record setter, and I got to call it a record setter for a 7.5, obviously because it's been 7 years since it sold, but it sold for less than 2 grades lower, a book that's 2 grades lower. Just when did I say? Was it 2 years ago? Just last year. Sorry, 6 months ago. So I don't know what it means, but I don't know. Maybe some of these pre-code horror books. I mean, it's been madness. It's been madness the past couple years on pre-code horror books. Just every sale higher than the last one. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of a change here. We'll see. Let's keep going to the next Golden Age book. So I'm skipping this CBCS book because it's hard to compare. Another coverless book. So let's go to Wonder Woman number 6. This is the first appearance of the original Cheetah from 1943. It's 8.5 and it's white pages. So pretty crazy to find white page Golden Age key issues like this. All right, so let's go back to GPA, 8.5 white pages. Here we go, Wonder Woman number 6. You can see this has been, I don't know, between a $12,000 and $15,000 or $16,000 book. Last sale was in 2020 for $12,000, and this one sold for $16,750. So is that the record sale? Hold on, let's look again here. All right, so let's see, 16,800 was the record in 2019. So this was essentially equal to the record, $50 less than the record. So nice sale here, and like I said, up from the previous sale. So I don't know, maybe things are looking up for some Golden Age books. All right, so that's Wonder Woman number 6. We're gonna skip again a CBCS 0.5 book. Let's go to, this is a very interesting one. All right, Captain America number 33, very classic Schomburg cover, fighting the Germans, Cap and Bucky. This is from the Promise Collection. It's a 9.2 cream to off-white pages, and if you remember the Promise Collection, when it came out in 2021, there was so much hype around these books. They sold for ridiculous prices, and I'm going to show you how much they sold for, at least this book, and then we're going to see what it sold for today. All right, so Captain America Comics number 33. Here we are, right here, 9.2. So you can see this exact book, the Promise Collection, it is the exact same book because I made sure, right? There was only one from the Promise Collection of this book, and it's the same cert number. So in 2021, when all these hit, I believe it was Heritage, right? It was just auction after auction. More of these Promise Collection books kept hitting. $25,200. And yeah, there had never been another sale for a 9.2. So $25,200. All right. Now fast forward 2.5 years later. What did it sell for? $16,319. So almost a 10 grand hit on that. So I chalk that up to the Promise Collection being way overhyped. It's a great story. But just significantly overhyped at the time. I mean, it was crazy. There were so many videos that came out of it, and so many people that I know that bought a lot of these books, and a few people are more than upside down on these. But it's okay, right? It's owning a great piece of history. And the good news is they're becoming more affordable. So that's always my conclusion on these, right? As the prices come down, they're becoming more affordable to the collecting community. All right, so that's Cap 33. Now we are going to head to, let's see, the next Golden Age book here. Again, a 0.5 signed book, right? We're just going to do blue labels here. So here we go. Human Torch, number 1. Again, from Timely. It's a 6.5, but it's got slightly brittle pages. This is the first appearance of Toro, who's the Human Torch's sidekick. And let's head over to GPA like we've been doing. I'm kind of lost here in my books. Here we go. Human Torch. 6.5. Last time it sold was 2019 for $9,600. That was a record-setting price back then. So again, $9,600. This one sold way up. $13,250, even with brittle pages. So another record-setting book for the Golden Age. And congrats to whoever bought this. But, man, that's a hefty price. All right. So now we've got to go on to page 2 here, and we've only got a few more to go through, and then we'll be done. All right, let's skip through. Again, here's a yellow label, but it's also restored, so we're going to skip that Golden Age book and go to Startling Comics number 49. Another classic Alex Schomburg cover, and it's a robot cover, and it's airbrushed. It's beautiful. 4.0, cream to off-white pages from Better Publications, 1948. All right, let's see what the previous ones sold for. Here we go, Startling Comics number 49. 4.0, look at that. Look at that huge increase to $18,000 back in 2021. My goodness. And only 2 years earlier, it was a $4,000 book. So it more than quadrupled in 2 years. So do you think that this one would keep up the pace, $18,000 or higher? So we go back to ComicLink, and this one sold for $11,100. So a $7,000 drop, $7,500 drop. So not so good for a classic cover like that, but it is what it is. So not a win here for a key Golden Age book. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is... All right, we've got some pre-code horror left. I think the last three of the last, okay, 4 books left. 3 of the last 4 are pre-code horror. So you'll see here, Chamber of Chills number 19. Another Grail from Pre-Code Horror. It's a 3.5, cream to off-white pages, just extremely classic cover. Nothing really gruesome about it. You see, the little wine glass there, and you see I guess the wife and her skull face shining through the glass. Classic cover again, another Lee Elias cover, and here we go. So 3.5. Last time it sold, 2023 in February. So a little over a year ago for $9,000. And today it sells for $9,975. So another record there, not up by a ton, given it's a little bit more than a year, 15 months ago, just under $10,000. Nonetheless, another record for a Grail book. Okay, Chamber of Chills again. This is issue 23, another Lee Elias cover. Little more gruesome, right? With the lady trying to defend herself against this zombie skeleton type of guy, and she's just grabbing handfuls of shirt and skeleton and can't get away from him. So, 7.5, off-white to white pages. Last one sold for, here we go, Chamber of Chills 23, 7.5. Okay, so it's been since 2012 that a 7.5 sold to this one. All right, and that was $359. So for sure, this is going to be a record because it went from $359 to $9,750. So wow, very close to the sale of the Chamber 19. So yes, a record by quite a bit. But if we go back to it and we look at, let's see if there was another sale more recent. Okay, so a 7.0 you can see, so one grade lower in 2021 sold for $7,800. So still 2,000 up from that. Seems like it's on par. All right, let's go. Two more books to go. The next one is, let's go with Captain America Comics 38, 8.5, white pages, Schomburg cover, bondage cover on here with Bucky and the female here all tied up. And I think they're fighting the Japanese. Yes, they sure are. But 8.5 white pages. And when we go look at GPA, Cap 38, 8.5. The last one sold in 2019 for $5,200. This one sold for $8,000. So another record. Big jump on that. And of course, the white pages helps. And by the way, whenever you see a red here on the current bid, the final bid price here, it says current bid, but auction has ended. So that's the final price. If it's red, it means that I bid on it and I did not win it. So I wasn't too far away, but someone wanted it more than I did. So anyway, strong sale, another record for a Golden Age book. Last but not least, all right, Chamber of Chills 23. Again, the last one was a 7.5. This is a 6.0. The last one was a record breaker. Let's go to the 6.0. All right, sold in 2019 for $3,900. This one sold for $7,800. So again, looks like I bid on this one too. Did not win. So huge increase. I know it was, 5 years ago. So not unexpected by any means. Another record-setting price, another pre-code horror book that's just jumping up in price here. So that's it. All right. So we went through a lot. This was a long video. I appreciate you staying with me and listening to all of it. We went through a bunch of Silver Age stuff, a bunch of Golden Age stuff. I think this, if I were to summarize it, Silver Age, little bit of a mixed bag, but most of the books going down. Golden Age, little bit mixed as well, but a lot of record setters as well. Most books going up, a lot of record setters. The only one in Silver Age that set a record was Showcase 22. Hadn't sold in forever, but handfuls. I think out of the 10 or 11 books I went through in Golden Age, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 books set records. So there you have it. I hope you liked it. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think. If you want to see more things like this, again, I did this because ComicLink doesn't share their information with GPA, so I think it's good to look at the sales prices and see how they compare to other books. A lot of people say ComicLink doesn't have strong sale prices, so I love ComicLink. I buy a lot from them. And as you can see, right, Silver Age is right in line with what we're seeing at other auction houses, right? They're all kind of going down. And Golden Age, especially pre-Cold Horror, going up. So strong sales on ComicLink. All right, that's all for today. Until next time, have a great day.